Oh, people, the video I never wanted to make. Fellow Italian Jorginho is leaving the club. Oh, this one's hard. I mean, I can't even not smile and laugh about this. Trust me, I'm really very okay about it. But of course, every time I praise Jorginho, it's Italian tax, and that's the only reason I think he's a good player. Look, I want to talk about the player in more detail. I want to talk about the fact that he's leaving. I want to talk about what it means for Arsenal. I want to talk about how he's kind of changed opinion since arriving at Arsenal. All this in a reaction. And look, the Goonerverse 2 is predominantly reports and rumours and updates on situations that we kind of know are ongoing. This is actually confirmed. This is signed, sealed, delivered. It is happening. Jorginho is going to Flamengo. So here's what Fabrizio Romano had to say about it. He tweeted, Jorginho is set to join Flamengo on a free transfer. He gives it the here we go. If Romano says here we go, it's 1 + 1 = 2. It's a fact, right? It's like, you do not question it. Boom, it's happening. Cool. He then says that it's been confirmed. They've been talking since January. The deal is sealed for the midfielder who leaves Arsenal in June. That will obviously be when his contract expires. It's only a 3-year deal. Another 3 years to play in Brazil. Was he 33 now? So he'll be about 37, 38 when his sort of, that 3-year contract expires. Good on him. Like, fair play, right? And look, he's done his thing in Europe. This is someone at one point scored very highly on the Ballon d'Or list as well. He played for the likes of Napoli, Chelsea, Arsenal. He won the Euros with Italy. So look, he's done his thing in Europe and he's going to go to Brazil to enjoy his football there, and I can't blame him. Like I said, I want to talk about 3 things. I want to talk about the player and how he's changed people's minds, I think, a little bit on him. I also want to talk about the 6th position and how it's left Arsenal, what Arteta wants to do with it. Anything else that pops into mind, we'll cover it. Just on the player himself, right? Okay, all Italian tax aside for a second. We'll put that joke to bed for 1 second. I didn't want him at Arsenal. I felt that we were a team that played so aggressively, that we were so dynamic in our midfield. Odegaard included in those earlier years. I mean, obviously we've not seen as much of it this season. That I just felt, even Xhaka got another level of kind of dynamism, or Arteta got another sort of level of dynamism out of Xhaka's play. I didn't feel Jorginho was suited to him. Sorry, I keep stumbling on my words. Didn't feel Jorginho would be suited to it. Add to that I didn't really love him when he was playing for Italy. I never kind of, because, I watch a lot of Italian games, especially at the, at major tournaments, and I never really thought, oh, wow, this is a class act. Yes, he might lack pace. Yes, he might not be the tallest and strongest, but you've got to get him in that midfield. I never really felt that of him at the time. And this is someone who Arteta really wanted. I mean, Arteta, I think, tried to sign him 2 years before he actually got him, which was, when was that? When did we sign him? We signed him January 2023. I think he tried to sign him summer 2020 or summer 2021. I might be wrong. So, look, Arteta's a big fan of Jorginho, and I wasn't convinced when we signed him. I've got to give him credit, though. I think a lot of players make a move to a rival club, whether it be a Mount from Chelsea to Man United, whether it be a Sterling and Willian from Chelsea to Arsenal. In fact, you could list another 5, 6 examples of people going from Chelsea to Arsenal. And more often than not, their reputation isn't enhanced. More often than not, they leave, and it's like, yeah, you can kind of see why Chelsea let them go. That's not to say they were all bad. David Luiz, I think, did fine for us. It's not really the level you'd want for a club the size of Arsenal's, but he did fine and played a big part in us winning the FA Cup. But I think, in fairness to Jorginho, I think of every player we've signed from Chelsea, and you chuck in there Raheem Sterling, you chuck in there Kai Havertz, David Luiz, William Gallas, Petr Cech. I think Jorginho has been almost quite comfortably the best performer of the lot. I think his reputation, I don't know if I want to say it's been enhanced. He won the Champions League, right, with Chelsea, and, he played at a very high level, and, he did other bits and bobs, the Ballon d'Or list, all that, won the Euros as a Chelsea player. But I think his reputation has absolutely been maintained at Arsenal. I think he leaves almost with maybe not a better reputation, but a better, almost kind of with more respect, because whenever he had to come in, for either Rice, who would be a 6, Partey would be a 6. We had El Neni before. These are all much more dynamic 6s. And he came in and kept things ticking for Arsenal. And actually, one of our best periods last season, whether it was the draw at the Etihad that everyone laughs at me for celebrating, whether it were that really, really long unbeaten run from, mid-January 2024 through to the Villa defeat, the 5s and 6s we put up on the board against sides, starting at home against Liverpool twice last season, albeit one in the FA Cup loss, but he played brilliantly in both. Jorginho, I think, played to a level that people went, oh, yeah, like you can see that this guy is a real master of what he does. And what he does is control a game of football, get to the base of midfield and ping passes, run a game of football, find players in behind, control a tempo. That he is kind of like whatever the modern sixes look like in the last 10 years, he's kind of embodied that in a lot of ways. And I think that position's evolved even more. Fabinho sort of being a little bit more dynamic, and Rodri. But Rodri for sure is dynamic, but look what he's kind of talked about for it. It's that ability to control a game of football. And Jorginho coming to Arsenal, me feeling like I wasn't really sure about it, I think he's been class. Now, I think you can literally point to a handful of bad games he's had. One of them was that sub appearance off the bench against Tottenham when he made the error in possession. And then I think he's struggled in one or two more recently, but that's kind of it. I think otherwise he's been up to the level. And dare I say at times, I think Arsenal have played better with Jorginho in there. Now, I don't think he ever got to the levels Thomas Partey has this season and has done in previous years. And so he was always going to be number 2 to him. But that's fine. We bought him for £12 million. His job was to come in and be very, very steady and dependable in the absence of Thomas Partey. I think he's been more than that. £12 million signing for a rival, which we all knew was going to be met with a lot of scepticism and hate and stuff. I think he's more than done the job. He was a third in line number 6. At times backup, at times having to start quite a run of games, play 3 games in a week. And do you know what? Absolutely stood up to it. I've got to give him credit. Honestly, I don't really like, even David Luiz, I give him credit for. Do I really like David Luiz? Do I really like what we got from him in Arsenal shirt? Not really. I just thought he wasn't as bad as people made out. Petr Cech I never loved. Gallas I certainly didn't. Sterling Willian, don't even get me started. Kai Havertz, I think it's because of the transfer fee and the amount he's on sort of salary-wise, it's kind of hard to say I really love that signing or love what we're getting from him. Jorginho, I think, has legitimately played at a level that we can consider more than adequate for a squad player for a team going for the title. More than. And huge credit to him for it. I think he could easily have come in, it would have just been a paycheck and just, another big club and stay in London. I think he came in and matched, if not helped raise, because remember, the year after he came in, we did get even better. I think he's either matched or helped raise the level of that group. Not through just his own individual performances. He's just been a part of the team as they've been on that journey. And I think fair play to him. Is it the right time for him to go? 100%. He must leave. And that's true of some others, but he's one of them, and that's absolutely fine. Zubimendi's going to come in and is going to be, a lot of people think of him as the younger Jorginho. I'm not sure the stats quite match up to that, but I need to watch more of him on the eye. But when you see the way he wants to play the position, when you look at his kind of stature in particular, there are some similarities there. It feels to me, when you look at what Declan Rice is doing in the 8, and look, I have to hold my hands up, I've been wrong. It's funny, I was right, and then I was wrong. Because I wanted him to be the 8 when he first arrived at Arsenal. And then the more I watched him, I went, I think this guy's a 6, and now I'm wrong. He's doing his thing again in the box-to-box role, he's doing brilliantly. It's quite clear that Arteta wants tempo dictators in the 6. It's why Partey and his position is safe in that team. It's why Jorginho's played a lot of minutes since arriving at the club. And it's why now we're trying to sign Zubimendi. It's a really important position for Arteta. And when trying to get Ødegaard, Rice and Havertz to find the balance, we missed something. That's why I think he was keen to keep Jorginho another year to ensure that Partey maybe stays. Now he's trying to do that and bring in Zubimendi. So I think Rice's days as number 6 are pretty numbered for... as a number 6 are numbered for Arsenal. I don't think he's going to play much football as a 6 for us, unless really needed. Not that he can't, by the way. I think he absolutely can. I think he's brilliant in that position. I think he's world-class in that position. But it's not the direction Arteta wants to go in with it. So look, yeah, bit of a video waxing lyrical about Jorginho. What else do you want me to tell you? He's going to play for Flamengo for another 3 years. But look, I really want to give him credit, guys. I think it's so easy to paint every player with the same brush. If they came from Man City, like Jesus Zinchenko, if they came from Chelsea, like, 8 players in our history, maybe more, maybe less. It's so easy to just say, Chelsea reject, wasn't great, wasn't at the standard, waste of signing. Disagree, man. You've got to have players that all do a job, various jobs in the squad. And he more than did his job in the squad. And you will find in every title-winning squad, you will find players in there that you just go, yeah, I'm kind of surprised they had as big an impact. Or I'm quite surprised they play quite as much. And actually, I forget that I maybe didn't rate this player, but they've raised their level to one of others, to the general standard that you want the club to operate at. And I think Jorginho, when Arsenal were playing well, certainly he ticked. And actually, when he got on the ball and played, he was able to get the team going. And I want to give him credit. He's not better than Thomas Partey. And if you're talking about keeping one of them, rightly, because of Partey's performances this season, people are talking about him. And he's not at a level, he's not playing at a level that I think, no, he's worth another contract, even at his age. But for the 2.5 years he was here, I'm going to give him his full credit. Everyone, there's been by the way, on this, Jorginho might be back for the game. According to Hand of Arsenal, there is a fitness test. He might be back for PSG on Wednesday. Should be a video on the Goonerverse tomorrow and a reaction to the Bino Gittins stuff. Jamie Bino Gittins, also known as Jamie Gittins, on the Goonerverse as well, came out earlier today. So check that out. And yeah, best luck to Jorginho in the future. Fair play to him. Catch you in a bit.